Well, everybody, it's nice to see you. It's nice to be seen, and I am very happy to have our guest, our sponsor for the North Palm Beach EP Mixer, taking place on Thursday, the 16th, I believe, of February. I've said it enough times, you would think I'd remember. 6 to 10 at Duffy's. And again, like I was saying, we are here with one of our sponsors, Nelson Vergara, who's the owner slash operator of 360 Protective Solutions. Nelson, thanks for taking the time and jumping on with us.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to the mixer.
Oh boy, I'm telling you, I don't know if I don't think I shared this right before we jumped on here, but we're at 100, 107, 108 registered attendees. Now, will everybody get there? Maybe not, but it's still a great number, and even if you take the normal attrition rate, it's still a great number. And so it's going to be a good time for sure. So, but anyway,
Absolutely.
but I'm glad you're part of it. I'm glad you decided that. I'm glad we could make it work because remember we were talking about doing something in New York last year and it kind of fell apart. And this year we got a more directed effort on
Of
it.
course.
But anyway, we'll jump right into it here, and I'm just gonna there's a few questions I'm gonna ask, and you're gonna just tell us about you. So first of all, tell us about your company, something that is new, something that you're excited about, something that you're known for, whatever it is, whatever you feel is important that we know.
Well, I mean, not much to tell about the company. The company is it's a young company. We started about 2 years ago. I started it while I was still in the New York City Police Department, and it was just something that I had a bunch of friends, colleagues. I also had several, um, supervisors and managers telling me that I should consider opening up a company just because we were so involved with the executive protection. And originally, when I started the company, I started with an executive protection focus, not realizing that the security field is so wide, it's so big,
Yeah,
that executive protection was my primary focus, but it just expanded and it's just been expanding ever since.
yeah,
So and
that's
that's what
yeah,
we've been doing.
yeah, and the fact that you recognized it and made the move. It's they talk about when you own a business, like don't fall in love with your service, fall in love with your customers. And it's kind of like whatever comes in, if you can do it, especially new, and you say yes, right? It's like, yeah, we can do
Of
that,
course.
and then we figure it out. Or it wasn't what we planned, but we're still gonna do it, right? And so yeah, so good on you for that, and I'm sure that'll pay dividends as you continue to grow. And so that's great to hear. Um,
Thank
but
you.
where do you rank networking in your skills toolbox or in your soft skills toolbox? Like where how important is it for you?
Soft skills is in one of the top three pillars for our business. Soft skills are it's so underrated. People, especially when you're coming from the government sector, you're really focused more on the hard skills and collaboration with colleagues within the same industry within the government, and you don't really focus so much on the soft skills other than just dealing with your principal, and you're not really thinking about outside of government, which is one thing that was a real eye opener for me once I transitioned from government to the private sector. It is so essential. Service, uh, focus, having that conversation with not only with principals, but amongst other business operators and owners, with prospective clients. It is so underrated. I can we can have a conversation for hours to just to tell you how important soft skills. It is so essential. One of the things that I do have, I am part of I'm the chair for the mentorship committee for the ASIS Executive Protection Committee, and for the steering committee. And that's one of the things that I share with my mentors, my fellow mentors and mentees. And we talk about, soft skills, how important and how essential it is. Just
Yeah.
having that uh, helps your business or helps you as an individual just grow and flourish. People begin to trust you, and that is one thing that we focus on: trust.
Yeah. Well, also too, excuse me. you know, so many people have the, you know, the run, the fight, the shooting, the like, you know, there's a lot of that, and what begins there's so that there's that skill. There's a certain like kind of skill level, but what begins to set you apart as you know, as a protector, as a business owner, as a new business owner, you know, what is it that you do differently? What is it that you do better sometimes? And a lot of that is like, you know, if you're going to talk to the client one way, I would tend to believe that they are believing that that's how you kind of that's how you are, that's how you deal in a professional setting. And so it's like now we're not talking about, you know, now we have to talk about, is this person, is this company, is this agent gonna are they gonna embarrass me, right? I mean, because that's one of the, obviously that's one of the things that gets talked about, you know, all the time as part of as part of protection as a whole. So anyway, so good on you, and really paying attention and understanding the level of importance. And as a business owner, you see it even more.
A
um,
lot more.
yeah. So what do you use your networking for? Like how do you most use it, or in tiers, like in finding clients, or in prospective protectors, like staff, you know, partners, vendors, like how do you most utilize networking?
That's a very good question, Craig, and I appreciate you asking it. I at first I had a mission, a focused mission of going to these conferences, going to these networking mixers and events for the sole purpose of looking for opportunity. But I also realized that it's not just about, creating opportunity, but it's also learning. I use it as a learning tool. I get to see what works, what doesn't work. To
Mhm.
me, I mean, as one of our fellow colleagues, which we all know, I'm not going to mention names, says he's the eternal learner. I tend to be the same way too. And I think that it's so a lot of professionals in our field are so focused on, what's your mission, what are you going to go for, what's your goal? And my goal is to learn. Opportunities are going to present itself. You just have to firmly, strongly believe in your service. You have to believe as an owner, believe in your culture, in your company, what it represents and what it can do, and be honest with yourself. And as long as you have that in your heart and in your mind, everything else is going to present yourself. It's going to present itself in spades. It's going to happen. I go there to learn, and I go there to make friends, and I go there to, hey, what do you think about this? And just because you're a fellow colleague, we have a conversation. I've had it in the previous mixer last year that we went to. I spoke to a certain colleague. We sat down at a restaurant and we were discussing a concept regarding to executive protection, and as a matter of fact, we were talking about soft skills versus hard skills, and we had that conversation. But I remember also listening during other mixes that I've been involved with, and it was like, wow, it just brought itself up in the conversation, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad I was there for that mix. I was there. I'm glad I was there for that conference, because you know what? It made the conversation very realistic. It made it to the point where I was able to kind of put a note in that person's mind, and I was like, you know what? We both learned from it, because it was a very good experience. So that's the reason why network is, it's to learn.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's, you know, and that's funny. I talk about that in my presentation, you know, my in my seminar that I do, is that there is such a learning opportunity, especially at a place like CPC, right? You know, or any of the big ones, but I mean, or even our mixers, right? You know, it's
Right.
you know, it's a standalone event, but there's a room full of people that have had different experiences than you, have different training, come from a different part of the world, maybe come from a different state. There's different laws, there's different customs, like all that stuff. And how much there's an opportunity to absorb all of that and then take it and apply it to what you're doing. And you know, and there's a guy named Tom Bilyeu. If you've ever heard of Quest Nutrition, like the Quest bars and all that, they went from knowing nothing. He goes, we didn't know how to make food. We didn't know how to, especially we didn't know how to make, like, you know, healthy food, like protein bars. We had no idea. None of us knew anything, because we went from zero in 7 years. We got valuated at like 1.2 billion or something like that. It was a ridiculous number. But what he said was, I look at myself as a learner. He goes, that's it. He goes, in that way, I never feel dumb. I just feel like I need to learn that, and I can learn that. So I identify myself even when people ask, I'm a learner. And so like the fact that you said that was just that was fantastic.
Hmm.
That because people a lot of times miss that part of it. Now maybe they're getting that out of it, but they're not conscious of that
Right,
they're learning, or they're not going with that intent is to learn
right.
of like, what am I going to come out of this? And how can I listen? And that's a benefit to other people too, because you want to sometimes you want to let them talk. One of the things we talk about is be interested, then be interesting. So sit and listen to somebody, and then let them learn you
You
about
said
whatever it
that
is that they're talking about. So that's cool. I love it. Um,
you said that at the CPC in December. I remember that was one of your slides. I was like,
okay, right.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Good, good, nice. So would you be willing to share a success? Is there a success story, something that maybe sticks out in your mind of where like whether it's, I mean, I'd like to hear about networking, but it's like anything that happened that was really like cool or different, or just like, holy cow, you found yourself someplace that you wouldn't normally have thought you, because you met the right person, you're standing in the right place at the right time, or anything like that.
I have, and like I said, shifting to the first question, it focused on executive protection. This journey, this opportunity, it led me to a whole different, a whole different path within the security field. So, and it all started with, one of my first clients, small client, it was a small account. I don't never consider any accounts to be small or be big. Account's an account. But that was my first account. It was my account in Brooklyn. And, I got the right people to staff, and work at that site. And based on that connection, based on our culture within the company, it created word started spreading about the business, about the company. And I started getting a phone call, said it was a referral from one of my agents. And that led into even a bigger opportunity where we started getting involved with retail. We started dealing with retail security with large retail stores, big box stores.
Hmm.
And to me, it was just a simple, just having the right attitude, having the soft skills, being able to present yourself professional, having a good background, and just having a good conversation. I don't look at myself as a boss. I don't look at, it is what it is, because it's the nature of the beast. I did start this business, but I look at myself, listen, I'm just a human being, just like everyone else. I was on the ground doing the job, doing the work. I did it for X amount of years, for a very long time, through the military, through whatever. I did it. And but again, I'm learning from this person. Why does this person, what led that person to want to help me, at
Hmm.
least trying to gain that network, gain that person's trust instantly. And it just worked. And thank goodness, to me, that's a very successful story,
Yeah.
because a year, less than 2 years ago, a year ago, we weren't even on the map.
Hmm.
And now we're, as you see, we're on social media.
Yep.
We have constant campaigns going on. We have a project that we're working on. So a lot of it's a lot of it's been very fortuitous so far for the business, and I'm very, very happy to be part of it.
Great. Well, and then that also that builds momentum too, and
Yes.
that doesn't hurt, or sometimes it's like getting into flow. You talk about it's like a Tony Robbins thing, right? It's
Yes.
flow. It's like once you're moving, it's like all that you start to see things coming up, and oh, that worked. Let me do that one again, and let me talk to this person, or this is what I said last time, and it's a different people, and you start to steer, and you start to see things that maybe you didn't see before. So yeah, that's cool. But thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's terrific. And I mean, that's really kind of I mean, that's exactly what networking is. It's just like somebody heard the right thing, somebody said the right time at the right thing at the right time. There's a quote. It's like be friends be friends that with people that will mention your name in a room full of opportunities or something like that. That's not verbatim, but something like that.
Hmm.
So somebody did that for you, and evidently they wanted to. Otherwise, they could have steered it anyway. So testament to
Absolutely.
you of cultivating a good culture. So, and then my final question for you is: are you coming to North Palm Beach, or are you just going to be a logo on the wall?
No, I will be there.
Awesome.
I'm so looking forward to it. I mean, again, it's an opportunity to meet new people, meet new professionals or young professionals and learn.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you can mentor, you provide a spot mentorship, I don't think it should be a missed opportunity. And the only missed opportunity is not attending. So 100% I will be there.
Awesome. Well, that's good news. I'm happy to hear that. I assumed it, had to ask, wanted to be sure. It's what we do, right? We can't speculate. So
Of course.
anyway, well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, thank you for being a sponsor, and
My
we'll
pleasure.
we'll wrap it up here, and I'll see you, or we'll all see you in Florida.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. See you
All right,
there.
all right, man. Thanks.
Mhm.